Good evening and welcome to weekend 15 of the Herd Racing League as we join the riders here in Paris. When will we feel the power? How soon until we escargot? And when will James Bailey and Rebecca Kingdom say enough is enough of these rubbish puns, Steve? Welcome and 55 seconds to go. Who are we following tonight, James?
Tonight I am following Sam Reganini, regular from the Herd Beginner Racing Series. So I'm looking forward to how he gets on. Becca, how about you?
Again, I'm following Lisa Jones.
No.
Because... What do you mean, no?
I was deeply surprised that we're following Lisa.
Because the women of the herd are not very coming forward with wanting to be followed. We promise we're not that scary, and if you would like to be featured on here, please send me a DM so that we can follow someone else. Not that I don't love Lisa, but, you know, there are other people. Maybe, once.
Thanks, Becca. And I'm following Dennis Wade, who has an unrealistic amount of hair on his avatar, according to the photo that I'm now stalking him on through the Zwift companion app. Don't worry, ladies, we won't be this judgmental if we choose to follow you in the race. And that's the timer off, and we're going, James.
Go, 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 go. And Sam is off straight into the front group and doing a great job holding 6.5 watts per kilo. And he's still holding 6.5 watts per kilo, down to the fives now. And he is going hard into the first bend as we hit the main course. And then we will go all the way down to the little loop at the bottom where we'll hit the tunnel. And then we will go all the way round again. And then up after a little mini roundabout. And then we'll go up to the Arc de Triomphe. And then back down again, repeat. So the main point on this route is going to be the climb heading north. So after we've done this little loop at the bottom of the course now, then we'll head towards the hill, which is a bit of a power climber session for about 2 minutes. But that will definitely separate the group. We'll see how that one pans out. Becca, how's Lisa doing?
Yeah, she's still in the front group. Having seen this race earlier, I'd like to say it's basically a 20-minute FTP test, and it looks like hell. So thank you, James, for picking this wonderful, wonderful course for us this weekend. There's an awful lot of herders in the front group as well. But yeah, Lisa's been putting out a good 4 watts kilo, and she's chilling in 15th. What about you, Steve?
Yeah, same with Dennis in that front group, resplendent in his herd kit designed by Corey. So yeah, big shout out to Corey as well. Really easy to spot these herd kits as we go heading down towards the tunnel. And like you say, it does appear to be a 20-minute FTP test. I suspect what will happen if I just do my FTP is I'll still finish really badly because I hate racing and James Bailey. So kind of key talking points tonight, I guess, will be around what bike you choose. Now, normally, obviously, we go Pink Tron because we know the Pink Tron is the fastest of all Trons. However, controversially in our pre-chat, I did suggest that maybe tonight is one where you pick your fastest bike on the flat. There is the hill, as James mentioned, up to the Arc de Triomphe, which is a bit of a power climb, minute or two's effort there, but then the rest of the course is flat, a bit of a higher rolling resistance, which Zwift simulates with cobbles, but mostly a sprinter's course, isn't it, tonight? James, what do you think?
I still think the Pink Tron is the best way forwards. I think if the route was entirely flat, then go for your best aero setup of anything you possibly have. But I think that there's enough hill to make the Tron worthwhile. And I'm still flabbergasted by the fact that people are sending messages whilst trying to race. But you know, some people like to do that. And you know, if you're right at the front of the course, holding a 4.5, 5 watts a kilo, what better way to spend the time than to send some of your mates a quick text just to let them know that you're actually feeling okay? Look at me, I can send text messages. This is so easy. But anyway, back to the race. Sam is doing a great job. I can see JMO or John Moore from ATP up at the front. Sam is just sitting just behind the front, which is where he wants to be. A few ATP riders in here. I can see Max Szymanski, Andy Kroll, Ian Elston's in there as well. What is he doing at 11 o'clock at night, racing, probably after a beer or two? Who knows? But Sam's doing well so far. How's Lisa doing, Becca?
Yeah, she's still in the front group as well. She's been putting out pretty much 4 for the entire thing, so I think this might well be an FTP test for Lisa. I just say I'm slightly aggrieved at your disbelief that people can sit at the front and text, as texting at 4 watts a kilo is my key TTT trait. But yeah, how are you getting on, Steve?
Just
Yeah, we're
jump,
the same here.
jump in there very quickly though, Becca. But TTT is your 4.4 watts a kilo is your recovery pace.
I can also text at 5 watts a kilo.
We've seen a lot of people here learning from top herd riders, Mike Bowser and Oyen Lugdale. There's a strong herd representation of people doing no watts per kilogram at the back, and we've raced across past the Concorde, and now we head up the fictional Champs Élysées. As Matt from the Zwift channel would say, look at the crowd, they are going wild as the simulated crowd jump up and down. But here we go through the start finish line, and this is where it's going to get really tough, isn't it? It's a 1% climb. You probably don't notice it. Most of us, especially on the cheeky trainer settings, whatever they are, aren't noticing the little incline here, but we're starting to head towards that subtle rise towards the Arc de Triomphe now, aren't we? And Dennis has sat quite nicely at 2.9, 2.8, so not quite a snail's pace, but certainly settling down here, isn't it? But I suspect it's about to go nuts at the front in this group where all our riders currently are. Becca, what would be your tactics tonight?
I honestly have no tactics other than to try and Bowser the hell out of this. So sit on the back and do as little as possible. But with more of us herders taking sort of tips from Bowser and Orjan, are we eventually going to get a reputation as a sort of herd of wheel suckers who refuse to do any work on the front, because everybody hates that person in a group ride? So we need to be a bit careful.
Well, I don't know about that. Last time I rode with Marilyn from the herd, she decided to repeatedly punch me in the legs as we cycled up the Innsbruck Com, metaphorically. But we're hitting the climb now, and we're just starting to see things string out a bit. I can see a feather being thrown in front of Dennis now, and he's just clinging on at the back of this group. How is your ride doing, James?
Yeah, Sam's doing really well, actually. He's still in the group, quite a few feathers being thrown around him. He's holding 4.5 watts a kilo, still hanging onto the group as we head towards the sprint banner. It's definitely stretching out a little bit. The most important thing about this climb is that it does not end when you hit the start of the Arc de Triomphe, because you'll very, very often see little splits happening just after that. So it's really, really important to go round the mini roundabout just after.
Oh, no, sorry, James. It looks like James has had a dropout on her trainer.
She's got a dropout. She's just stopped completely. She was doing so fantastically well in that front group. That front group was really fast. I was about to say she was having the race for life, and now she's gone.
Oh, it's tragic. Awfully sorry, Lisa. Hopefully you do get your power back together, and then you're still able to finish. But I think all three of us are absolutely devastated for you.
Yeah, absolutely gutted for her.
Yeah, indeed. It looks like Dennis had a couple of problems as well, because he was doing 4 and a bit and comfortably in the group, and then suddenly seemed to be 5 or 10 metres off the back. So how are things at the front, James? Is Sam still up there?
Yeah, no, Sam's still there. We're just about to hit the roundabout going round the Arc de Triomphe. He was actually leading at the front for a while. We've still got a pretty big group here. I'd say probably 20 plus. Can see Bruce Bortos in there. We've got a few ATR riders, Andy Kroll, a psychologist, Jay Chandler, Paul Chacaro's in there as well. We're just getting round the other side of the Arc de Triomphe, and we'll start heading downhill. How's your rider doing, Steve?
Yeah, Dennis is all right. He got dropped off a bit. He's now here with Rich Haig, DS for the Quackers, and Pinktron riding legend that he is. Rich had been struggling for motivation tonight. Really wanted to just get on the beers and not bother with cycling, but I see he's made it tonight here. So Rich and Dennis currently leading out this group. No wheel suckers from the herd in this group of 5 here. Bit of a key moment here, this, isn't it? Like, they've been dropped by that front group. I can see a little group of 5 ahead of them, 15 seconds ahead. And if that group decide to kind of play silly buggers, and as the technical term goes, and not really ride for each other, then there's every chance that this group could catch them up. And I'm going to get really excited about blobs and efforts and the uncited and unspoken word of working together, which I do every week. But Becca, have we seen if Jonesy's managed to get her trainer going again?
She's disappeared, so she's quit the race, unfortunately. I hope she's okay, and I hope she'll have another go at this weekend. So For the time being, I switched to Ryan Akiyama because we followed him before, and hopefully he won't mind. And I know he was hoping, although in his words, somewhat optimistically, for a top 10 tonight. So yeah, we're going to follow him for a little bit instead.
Jolly good. Hard luck, Lisa. Really, really bad luck. But tonight we have 2 laps of the Champs Élysées course because just like an egg, one egg is never enough.
No, I thought we did all of these egg puns before broadcast. There will be no egg puns.
This makes me very sad. But however, Sam's still doing great. He's still in the front group. Group is from, well, I can't really tell how many people are in there, but Ryan's definitely in there. Bruce Bortoff's in there. We've got a couple of OTR riders, Ian Elston, C. Hagen out of ATP. John Moore's in there as well. It's a decent looking group, probably about 15-20 people. Steve, how's Dennis doing?
Yeah, just wondering how Becca's going to manage to get through all of the puns tonight as we here are in France. Dennis currently hooked up with Richmond Crockers, German chap Bommelman. He's currently doing 4.6, so this could be a really good opportunity for them. They've got a chap who's doing a lot of work on the front. He's going to drag this group along quite rapidly. They're now down to 12 seconds according to the incredibly accurate Zwift timing system to the group ahead of them. So every chance they could catch them, which could be exciting. It's interesting to see that feature rider Jonathan Wynn is actually now chatting on YouTube. Hi, Jonathan, and well, I'm glad you made it to YouTube, if not the race. And a bit of love for Lisa as well there in the chat. And some appreciation for Craig that we can actually be heard tonight. So well done, Craig.
And up front, we've still got Craig. Just talking about Craig. We've got Sam still in the front group, and we are just starting to head around the mini loop before we head up that lovely hill yet again. Yep, so we've got the loop at the bottom end of the course. We'll fly around that. Then we'll go under the start-finish banner before we go past the magical mini circle on the map, which is pretty much the signal that the climb will begin. Becca, have you seen how Ryan's getting on? Any pointers for him at all?
Well, he's sat on the front, so honestly, I think he should save his energy a bit. But if he wants to drag the group around, then by all means, go ahead. At least then we won't get a reputation as a herd of wheel suckers. Yeah, he's also there with a guy who was in the race earlier and who I made a comment on Facebook about the fact that he does an awful lot of the races, and I think he got slightly offended. So, Cooper, if you're out there, I'm very sorry about that. But you do a lot of races, and quite frankly, you're not going to catch up with me on points, no matter how many you do. So, yeah, how are you getting on?
Boom! Big chat being dropped there by the second best kingdom in the Kingdom herd. We all know Diane is our favourite. Yeah, hopefully that doesn't ruin your night, Becca. So here we have Dennis. We're now down to 6 seconds, and Bommel and the German chap who's riding on the front at 3.8 watts per kilogram really is helping this group of 5 here. He's dragging them up to the group ahead, which includes Alan Chevel. As ever, the highly accurate Zwift and confusing Zwift leaderboard on the right is being really unhelpful, but it looks like the group ahead aren't particularly trying. The group of 3 or 4 riders, so every chance for a few positions to be gained by this group by them walking together. And Zoe Mackay with a message redacted on YouTube at the moment, so I can only guess that she's giving Becca some abuse for her big trash talk there.
I've got some insider information. I believe that Zoe actually said the letter A. And I can tell that all of us are completely shocked by the letter A, and what could that possibly signify? We don't know. We may not find out. But Top Cat SWP says LOL.
Yeah, apologies. That is me. So let's go back to some riding. It looks like a couple of riders have tried to make the jump up to the group ahead as they've come out the tunnel in Dennis's group. James, how are things going at the front for Sam? You must be scooting across Place de la Concorde, about to hit the Champs Élysées for the second time.
Indeed, we are on the very, very straight Champs Élysées, which has no bends whatsoever. It is very, very straight. We are just coming up to the start-finish banner to signify the fact that we have one more lap remaining. and we are also just crossing over 10 kilometres. So 1 lap to go, 9.9 down.
Becca, who would you like to diss next?
I'm done with my dissing for now, thank you. Can I just say that Sam's actually got the sprint jersey? That's nice for him. Ryan's still right at the front, putting in a lot of effort. I do wish he would sit back a little bit in the group, but it took me a long time to sort of do that. So we've got an
awful lot of herd in this front group, which is really nice to see. Yep, and Paul Chakro, who likes to think he's a rhino, is a herd tonight. So we're very grateful that he's come back to the right place and wearing the right kit. So good job, Paul. Sam also looking amazing in the resplendent herd kit. Currently sat in position 8. Can see Max Szymanski's up there in about 2nd place, and we are just hitting the hill, and it's starting to spread out a little bit. Just looking to see how Sam's still got the power. Sam's doing a great job so far. He's still holding on, pushing out low 400s now, high 3s, which is about 5.5 watts a kilo. He's using the truck power up, but he's the front rider. What are you doing, Sam? Why are you using a truck when you're position 1? But it's okay. Just keep on going. Push. Heart rate up around 180 RPM, around about 100. Sam is pushing really hard. Still 5.5 watts a kilo. 2% hill. Just crossing over 11 kilometres, we can see the Arc de Triomphe, and he's just lapping another rider. Sam is going for a really big push. He's got a 4 metre lead on the entire field. I'm so excited. Steve, what's going on just behind?
Well, so we've had an interesting bit. The German bomberman, who's now doing a frankly bonkers 4.7 watts per kilogram, Rich Haig from the Quackers, really intelligently went across with the Germans. They split across the group. Alan Chauvel from the herd also managed to hang on to that group, but sadly Dennis and co probably trying to sit about like low 3s, high 2s, weren't quite happy to hold on. So they're now 5 seconds behind those 4 riders ahead of them. But again, every chance they could catch them up. It may be a bit more tricky now. The German bomberman, who was frankly pulling them right up to the group ahead of them, has joined that group ahead. But Alan sat nicely in 27th. He's doing 3.1 at the moment. Quite a nice steady pace up the climb to the Champs Élysées. And apologies to Zoe, who has been ridiculed for her poor typing skills. We did actually think you were just dropping F-bombs all over our YouTube chat, so apologies for that. Becca, how's Ryan doing?
Yeah, he had a little bit of a struggle over the top where, you can get caught out just after the sprint point, but he's pulled himself back into the group now. So, he had to put out a lot of energy there, but hopefully he'll manage to sit in this group as they go down the descent, and he'll be recovered in time for the sprint. He's currently in 13th place. And heading towards the front, which I wish he wouldn't. I wish he'd sit in the pack a bit more, but he looks strong. I think he's comfortable. James,
so while we're in a slightly quieter part of the race as they regather before the sprint, it's interesting. Zoe on YouTube has raised the spectre of things that are shouted over Discord in the moments of panic in races. And interesting, we had a new one for all of us. Quite a lot of races between the 3 of us, haven't we? Shouted on Discord as a 52-year-old man called for his mother. James, do you want to talk us through that one?
Yeah, so Matt De Freitas, who actually, fair play to him, managed to do a TTT yesterday with the herd of kookaburras and the herd of sharks, which is no mean feat, as Becca will attest to. But on Tuesday, he noticed his quick releaser come a little bit loose, and he decided to call the pit crew, which happened to be his mother. So broadcast to the entire universe was the conversation with his mother to get that quick release back in, and also using a hammer to do everything possible to make sure his bike was secure. But very quickly back to a race. So Sam had a good stint up front, and now we are in the bunch. It looks like this group is a group of 12 or 13 heading down, just about to go past the pens where we started, and then we'll have the mini loop before the crazy mad sprint to the finish line. And I think we've got about 3 kilometers to go before the end of the race. But Sam is now conserving. He's Bowsering like a pro. We don't call it drafting anymore. It's just Bowsering. Although, to be fair, if it was Michael Bowser, he would probably be about 2-3 meters just off the back of a group. But he's certainly been doing a good impression of it. But he's just pushing himself towards the front now, just to make sure he's ready for an attack, possibly as we come out the tunnel. But quickly back to you, Steve. How's Dennis getting on?
Yeah, so we're just dropping down the descent from the Arc de Triomphe now. He's sat here with another member of the herd, and Zwift's leaderboard has done the convenient scrolling thing, so I can see that from the herd/Broncos, and their name ends in teen, which is all the information I've got. And the highly imaginative JC7739 riding this group of 3 at the moment. So he's currently sat in 28th. Going to be a little sprint. There is a Canadian rider 6 seconds ahead on his own. So again, every chance with the power of the blob and a bit of work together that they may catch them. But the Canadian rider's pushing out some high 3s watts, so may be able to time trial it away to the end here now. Becca, as the person who owns the poshest bike, because you've got a Pinarello with Campag kit on it, how do you feel about people fixing quick releases with hammers?
Can I just say, I think my Colnago is probably posher than my Pinarello, but I do not like.
This is why you were the right person to ask this question to.
Hammers for quick releases. I don't know. Honestly, I don't know what you would use a hammer for, but Matt managed to stay on his bike for the rest of the ride, so obviously his mum did something right with the hammer, whatever it was. I don't want to know for my own sanity. So yeah. Anyway, Ryan is currently doing 4.5 watts kilo. He's currently in 4th. I don't know how long this race is, but I did watch Orjan sprint from about 800 meters out earlier, so I'm not sure at which point things will start to heat up a bit.
I don't think Orjan really knows how not to sprint from about 800 meters out. I think his shortest sprint is generally about 600. Whereas certainly from my perspective, like a long sprint for me would be like 350. But we are just doing the climb out the tunnel now, and this could be the last effort for anyone to try and get any distance out the way. But looks like we're going to be pretty much bunched as we head for the finish line. So we've got the last leg of the mini loop at the bottom end of the course. We have around about 1 kilometre to go. Sam is still in an absolutely fantastic position, and Sam's raced this like an absolute trooper. Not entirely certain, but I would have planned on trying to stay up front quite as much as he has done. But he's in a great position. He's currently sat 4th wheel. We're now down to about 800 meters to go. And we're more than halfway through this last leg of the mini loop around the bottom end of the course, and we will very shortly be able to see the finish line. So if you guys will just bear with me as I talk absolute garbage for about another 30 seconds. Can see Ryan's taken to the lead. Sorry to steal your thunder there, Becca.
Only for 30 seconds, James.
It's probably about apologies. Sam's gone. Well, he's gone to the front. Not entirely sure this is the way I do it, but he's got a few riders just overtaking him now as we take the last right-hand turn, and we'll be able to see the banner very, very shortly. And we've got about 500 meters to go. People are dropping feathers. Don't know why. We've got a couple of arrows, a truck. Sam's pulling up the watts. He's up to 461 at the moment. He's going to have to push out really, really big numbers. It's 413, 525. We can see the banner. It's only about 200 meters in front. Sam's going to have to go really, really hard. I don't think he's got anything left, and he's looking like he's going to cross the line in 12th place. Back to you, Steve.
I want to say Ryan came in 3rd, but I'm not entirely sure because my internet's laggy. But I think he did, which was an absolutely fantastic ride.
It looked like Ryan dropped some big watts there, watching that on the YouTube feed. Going back to us, Dennis has been joined by the big blob that was chasing up from behind. So we've now got a few more herd riders here, Jay Aldrich and somebody heard FFZ LDR. Again, Zwift's leaderboard really helping me to describe any riders that are in this group by just showing me the end of their names. So we're just through the tunnel now, and as we come out through, obviously, Norwegian Corner, for those of us who know it well, hitting that little climb, Dennis Gendler is what's dropping off curiously, though. I don't know if he's having a few difficulties with the trainer tonight. He's just dropped to the back of the group as a result. So here we are racing towards the corner to Place de la Concorde, and stringing out a bit here now. Dennis trying hard he's just losing the draft a little bit here as he drops back. I don't know if he's a bit tired or again a few trainer problems. He's just lost the draft. Oh, it's drops. It's Watson stopped. This is a Zwift virtual puncher. The watts are back up. He's back to 1.4, 1.8 watts per kilogram. I don't know if that's a bit of cramp or something, but his watts just dropped to nothing at one point there. Mike Bowser saying he thinks he's had a trainer issue on our YouTube feed. It's very difficult to tell. Sadly, can't call the virtual Mavic support car or for his mum. Well, maybe you can call for his mum and the hammer. But it looks like terrible luck that he's lost that group as they've come through here. A few trainer issues. He's now sat back at 3.5 watts per kilogram, so clearly has the power and had the power to stay in this group, and he's desperately trying to do some work now. But I can see he's catching the American rider Barvin in front of him. Hopefully, he can nip a couple of positions on the line, but it looks like he's lost a chance. He's been riding for such a strong top three. Oh, his watts have gone again. Oh, Dennis, it looks like there's a few technical issues here. This is a virtual puncture, isn't it? And maybe I've had too much to drink, but it's about as exciting as Zwift gets when you're watching pixels move on the screen. Is somebody suffering in their garage and having a piece of technology break? So here he comes round that final corner to Champs Élysées. Watts are back up again. He's 2 seconds away from Barvin. Just looking at the sprint times as they pop up here. A psychologist doing a great time. Looks like he's finished second today. Dennis just dropping a feather now. He's 2 seconds behind Barvin. Fred Dennis dropping the watts. The watts coming up. He's up to six, nearly 7 watts. He's getting the sprint out early. Is he going to nip this on the line from Barvin, the American rider? The American rider, he's just creeping up his watts himself to 5. Dennis still hitting 6 in the watts. Come on, Dennis, you could get him on the line here. Let's go, Dennis. Go, 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 go. Oh, just enough of a sprint from Barvin, the American rider, to keep Dennis off from him in the end there. So Dennis rolling over, I think in 48, but terrible luck here. And a bit of a commentator's curse for us tonight, wasn't it? We've had Lisa with an early drop out, and I think Dennis has had some technicals. So please don't be followed by us next week if you want to do well.
Yeah, no, it's been really, really sad to see technicals from our riders tonight. But hopefully next week will be an entirely different story. So just to bring us on to next week, we are on Monday in the Stampede. We have a very, very fast and furious Tempest Future TT. On Wednesday, we have everyone's favourite 18 laps of Crit City around the Bell Lap. And next weekend, we will have a single lap of Whole Lotta Lava. For those of you not familiar with the course, that will be a climb up a volcano. And everyone loves a climb up a volcano. It's a lovely place to be.
I am incredibly excited about next week's course, James. I'll be really honest with you. I really enjoy the volcano climb. It's 7, 8, 9 minutes of quite a continuous effort. There's no real changes in incline on it, are there? It's just it's a great climb for you and I who both like a bit of a time trial effort, isn't it?
Yeah, it's basically in 2 halves. So you get halfway up, and then you've got the flat through the middle of the volcano, and then you do exactly the same again to the top with a little ramp just before the end. Becky, you must be a fan of the volcano as well.
I'm very much looking forward to the volcano climb. Yes, although I don't actually know where Whole Lot of Lava finishes. So
I'm quite pleased that James was able to explain that something with 2 halves had 1 half and then a second half, though, Becca.
It's excellent. It's good to know. It's good math.
I genuinely have no idea where the route actually finishes. I suspect it's the sprint banner inside the volcano, but I may well be wrong. But I do know the week after we have a fantastic route. It's the Innsbruck climb, and the route will finish at the Com banner. So definitely looking forward to that because it's going to be absolutely brutal and disgusting. However, we are looking forward to next week's races and also the other races over the course of this weekend. But a big thanks to Lisa, and awfully sorry about your technical today. Equally, Dennis, you were doing so well, and so sorry you had technicals as well. But Sam and Ryan, you were absolutely brilliant. Well done. Thank you for joining us. And a big thanks to Becca and Steve and Craig for getting the audio to work from the start of this stream. Big thanks to everyone, and a massive thank you for everyone that's been watching. Thank you very much, and good night.